terms of the solar panels, solar project, in terms of renewable energy. What do we have on ground? So moving on, I would like to bring our attention to all our participants here and who have logged in, is that we collaborate at Shelter Afrique with our partners, most of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa and other stakeholders in the industry to develop a report titled COVID-19 African Cities, which looked into the effects of the pandemic in terms of the socio-economic and urbanization dynamics in Africa. It has been a challenge of really understanding how our cities can cope, considering the high level of informal settlements that we do have across the countries. Also, the challenge of housing has already been there even before COVID. So the challenge is even excavated with the COVID pandemic.
Recording in progress.
In terms of putting in strategies to achieve enhanced housing delivery and also recovering effectively through housing delivery. I will really use this opportunity to implore all those that are participating in this conference to really have ideas of how they can be able to leverage on the data, on the facts and figures that are presented in this report, which will be useful as our Nigeria recovers from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. So moving on, this slide gives us a snapshot of what have we achieved across member countries in Africa, and how can this be replicated, towards achieving Nigeria's goal of affordable housing delivery. Yeah, we had a masterclass in Kenya, in Nairobi, way back in 2019, which looked into PPP, the use of PPP for affordable housing delivery. Then also another masterclass that was held in Harare in Zimbabwe in terms of delivering practical frameworks of affordable housing value chain. And within the Nigerian market, we are part of a strategy that was conducted through ICRC and other stakeholders in terms of women's participation in the built environment. So here, what we're trying to say is that we are Shelter Afrique, we do have the Pan-African spread. We don't have that advantage of being in the industry for 40 years. So Nigeria stands to really benefit in terms of how we can be able to put in measures to attend to the challenge of affordable housing in the country. And also, we need to be cognizant of the fact that besides our masterclasses, which are mostly physical in nature, we need to understand that we need to, of course, align with the nature we found ourselves in terms of restrictions, in terms of movements. So that's why we do have virtual programs, which are in forms of webinars. So part of this, we have held several webinars in terms of land reforms, green finance, affordable housing delivery strategies in COVID-19, which all those presentations are available on the COE website, sharpcoe.org. At a point of note, I would like to indicate our engagement that discussion we're having just now, which by the 7th of August, we are planning to have a capacity building program, a similar masterclass for Zanzibar, that's the revolutionary government of Zanzibar, in terms of understanding their needs and wants, and also putting in place measures to support the affordable housing strategies. So the essence of this slide is to really see that Shelter Afrique, our spread is cut across all the regions across Africa, and also understanding the specific needs and wants. Because as we all need to understand is that the challenge of affordable housing delivery across Africa is not one size fits all. We need to really tailor our solutions to the specific the dynamics relevant to that country. So as an example, in countries like Zanzibar, they do have the particular needs in terms of climate change, rising sea levels. So that's how we do tailor our master classes. So in line with this, we're looking forward to really collaborating with REDAN, with WIHI 774 and other partners in the Nigerian market to tailor hands-on practical solutions to the challenges of affordable housing and built environment in the industry. And although, as I conclude my presentation, one important aspect that I'm looking out for, participants from Nigeria is we are collaborating with the government of the Kingdom of Morocco to organize a social housing tour in terms of understanding how the country has been able to attend to their affordable housing challenges, because Morocco has been at the forefront of really aspects relating to urban development, slums renewal, affordable house, private sector driven affordable housing strategies. So that's why I think that is important to really bring in stakeholders, both from the public and private sector, to be there at Morocco, to engage with all the stakeholders, from the financiers, from the public sector officials, from private sector developers, and how can you able to really transfer the knowledge from there to our respective countries. So we're organizing this tour through the Center of Excellence by October, so first week of November, so that we will provide that platform where countries can learn from each other, which is one of the key pillars of Center of Excellence, to provide an enabling environment for peer engagement across member countries. And also, another key area of interest is our partnership with International Finance Corporation, the EDGE, which is aimed at enhancing green building delivery in Africa. We're all aware of the challenge of climate change. We're all aware how it's negatively impacting our livelihood. So it is important, as we are recovering from the effects of the true housing delivery, to put in place measures to ensure that our recovery is sustainable and it's aligned with the goals and objectives of attending to the challenge of climate change. So that's why we do have this collaboration. And part of this is that we, in the month of May recently, we held a workshop in collaboration with IFC to sensitize our member countries. And in terms of how does this partnership work and how can our stakeholders take advantage of the partnership to drive green building delivery across Africa. And fortunately enough, we had a good number of participants from Nigeria. And we're looking forward to continuously working together to achieve our objective of green building delivery in Nigeria and Africa at large. So lastly, there is an initiative that a project we are working in completion in terms of really the question that's always been asked in the built environment industry is that what does it mean to have an affordable home? How can we be able to, what is affordable in Lagos? Is this the same as what is affordable in Accra? Is it the same figure to what is been affordable in Kampala? Definitely no. But all this while, we've understood the fact that we use the figure of 30% being of income being used in housing. Anything more than that is indicated to be unaffordable. But through our studies, through our research, through our extensive review of literature, we understood the fact that 30% has lots of drawbacks. So we are conducting a study which is on completion, and at the end, we are looking forward to having a public launch and a forum to sensitize our members on how they can be able to use this framework or tool to calculate, to understand that affordability question, both from the demand and supply side. So CA is driving that, and we'll keep you posted in terms of the launch and also the public consultation of this project. So I would like to say thank you for your attention.
Very big round of applause for Dr. Gambo. He has given us an insight on some of the things that Shelter Afrique usually look out for in determining a loan to be granted for the people. I believe that we have taken one or two things from that presentation. We are moving ahead now. Before we bring in the next presenter, that is Mr. Kingsley Moro, the Chief Finance Officer of the Shelter Afrique, I would like to call on Mr. Femi Adewale, the Managing Director of the Family Home Fund, for a brief remark. we decided to bring him in now because there is pressing official engagement that we have to take him out from here. So please, Mr. Femi Adewale.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's very scary when they say pressing official engagement. That is the political speak. It's never pressing and it's never an engagement. It's always an excuse. But in this case, it's just that I needed to attend the meeting. But I really didn't want to miss the opportunity to say a few things. And that is why I asked for the privilege. And I'm grateful to Andrew and the team for obliging me. But more so significantly, the thank you for asking me to be here. You know, I don't know, I'm always a part of the family for Shelter Africa, along with my elder brother, Prince Fadejo, who did a lot of great things to establish this great institution, which I think is probably one of the better things that the African continent has done. Your institution continues to make a difference in the life of people, and the rejuvenation that is going on is something that gives us hope that in our generation, these housing issues across our continent, particularly in our land in Nigeria, we will see the light at the end of the tunnel. I think I just want to make a brief remark. I spent a lot of time with the team, and in terms of where I am at, and I think where my organization is at, is really about fighting for the right to be where we are and getting a space around the table where big discussions are being made. Getting to the point where housing is seen as a critical part of the economic development of Africa, the development of our cities, the quality of life of our citizens. I think that is first priority. For too many times, for too long, housing has been seen as a social service on the periphery. We try to do that by getting on the table with respect to the economic sustainability plan and ensuring that when Nigeria decided that they wanted to invest 2.3 billion naira in the recovery of the economy post-COVID, that housing was one of the three levers that they chose to execute that economic recovery. But that is only the beginning. Not only must we ensure that we maintain that position, but across the continent, governments understand that you can't lift the economies of our nations, you can't improve the quality of life, you can't enable people to aspire to their own dreams and visions, except we put a decent, a safe, and affordable roof over their heads. To do that, therefore, I think it's critical that we must deliver. We must do. Okay? We must do. We must do, we must do, we must do. That is what gets us the recognition. That is what gets us the notice. And, you know, we will be wonderfully want to work with Shelter Africa. We have a meeting later this afternoon to explore how we can work together. But it's not just about Shelter Africa and Family Homes Fund. There are so many players out there. REDAN is here. We all need to work together. Now, some of you will be surprised about the fact that, actually, you shouldn't be surprised that I didn't have a first class in university. You may be surprised that I even went to university at all. So my approach is very simple. Let's just do it. So I try to try things in a small way, and then learn lessons from there and scale up. So I want to share just very briefly a very practical approach that I think in developing this partnership, we can move forward with Shelter Africa, with REDAN, and very many other players that are in this room. So you probably know that about a couple of months ago, we signed, along with 4 other players, a partnership agreement with Nasarawa State Government. I shouldn't perhaps mention the other partners just for the confidentiality of it, because I don't have their permission. But it was a unique relationship. What we decided to do was that, look, we want to build very modestly 2,000 houses in Nasarawa State. So, but we thought, look, family owners can't do it alone. Somebody has to provide the land. Somebody has to provide the offtake financing. Somebody has to build the houses. We have a very turbulent construction market. How do we hedge that risk? So we said, let's bring everybody together from day one. So we said, we want to build 2,000 houses. What are the things that we need? Who is providing the land? Sign on this dotted line. Who is providing the offtake financing? Sign on this dotted line. Who is going to provide the doors? Sign on this dotted line. And we got everybody to sign to initially a head of terms agreement, which is now being converted into a full delivery partnership agreement. But because people talk and don't do, we said, okay, just to show us that we are serious, put 20 million naira in the kitty. 20 million naira in the kitty. First, that is your entry fee. About half of the people ran away. So we knew that we knew that they just wanted to be having meetings with us. In the end, we got enough people, and that program is going on. We've established a big preference upfront in Lafia. We are recruiting somebody to drive it, representing all of us. Everybody is clear. So from beginning to the end, we know how much is required to finance the project and where it's going to come from and when. We know who is going to provide the mortgages and when. We know where the suppliers will come from. We know who is providing the land, what kind of land and where. So basically, we have, as I see it, a fairly smooth road towards implementation. Now I think, can we extrapolate those principles to Ruhi? So I looked at the figure. You want to do 100 units in 774 local governments. I did quick numbers. You need 350 billion naira of construction capital and almost equivalent amount, maybe 80% of that in construction financing, to take that out. First question, where is that money coming from? Family Loans Fund alone can't come up with 350 billion naira. Okay? So maybe we can do 100 billion. Maybe Shelter Africa can do 50 billion. Maybe somebody else can do 10 billion. So we know we signed the money. The money is there. Somebody has to build 2,000 houses. I tell you, it's easier said than done to build 2,000 houses. So who is going to build it? And for those 77,400 people who will buy the house, how many of them are renters? How many of them are sales? What is the level of offtake financing that is required? Where is that going to come from? FMBN, can you sign on the dotted line that on this Ruhi program, you are bringing it? It's not words. You need to commit. It's a binding commitment. In Nasarawa, it's a bind. If that money doesn't come, we are heading straight to litigation. Okay, so I think that we need to pick these things off in some very practical, outputs-oriented structure. Otherwise, we will talk habits in the air. 350 billion naira is a lot of money. But that's what so when we talk about 774 than 100, we need to first think about, otherwise we are window shopping. Okay, and I don't like window shopping. So this is just my suggestion. Let us bring all of this together as we sign the MOU today around Ruhi. We are involved with you. Let us move to the next stage and plan ahead. Let's not do it on a scheme by scheme and scheme by scheme basis. They are expert. This is something I said, Shelter Africa is very good. What is the structuring of this project? Okay, what's the structuring of it? Okay, let's just agree the structuring of it so that we're not learning one step. We know when we start where we're going. That is all I have to say. Thank you very much, and I have a lovely day. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Mr. Femi Adewale. Well, collaboration. That is the key word there. And if we must move the housing sector forward in this country, we cannot do without collaboration. So, and it's not just collaboration, but committed collaboration. That is the way forward. Now we are moving to the next presentation, and we are going to be inviting Mr. Kingsley Umo, the Chief Finance Officer of Shatta Afrique, for his presentation. Please, let's welcome Mr. Kingsley.
Good afternoon. It's morning, actually. Good morning there.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kingsley. We can hear you.
Yeah, just a minute. I just want to put my presentation. Yeah, so my presentation is simply a pleasure to the members of REDAN. We are grateful for the opportunity, and essentially we want to show you the funding opportunity we have organized for you. As my former boss and friend and colleague Femi just mentioned, Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa, $500 billion GDP, on a conservative estimate, 200 million plus population, and therefore Shatta Afrique, and you being one of the largest members, we want to tell a solution which fits Nigeria. That means we have to talk big, because in terms of deficit, we can argue what it is, but it's required. It's a huge deficit for affordable housing. And therefore, we need to talk big numbers. And as Femi said, not one institution can solve the housing problem in Africa. No, we need a collective effort. And therefore, now our part of Shatta Afrique, because Nigeria is the biggest economy, because Nigeria's debt is the largest, the numbers can be debated. We believe we must talk the numbers. So as Shatta Afrique, we've come with a solution to say, for Nigeria, the first step is to do a local currency bond issue. To be the first time in Nigeria, which was an omission, really, because we have done a lot of bond issues in Kenya, we have done a lot of bond issues in the CFA zone, but Nigeria has a functional capital market. So for us to intervene meaningfully, we're offering this product. So we are in the process of issuing a bond in Nigeria. So the program note is 200 billion naira. On our part, we are seeing that as $500 million equivalent. So depending on how the exchange rate moves, take it as $500 million. The first series must be issued this year, and this is why it will come in, and that's why we're talking to you, because it depends on the REDAN's members' readiness for us to issue the first series, the first tranche. The first tranche, we're estimating at $100 million. That's about 40 billion naira. But if you have got a pipeline ready, we can upscale that. The currency, of course, is naira. The tenure, which Elizabeth and Yango mentioned, we are looking at between 5 to 10 years. But again, the final tenure will depend on discussions we shall be having with yourselves. As Elizabeth said, if you go for a long tenure, you pay more